boy Nelson Trimble. Welcome to the Popular Lane Show Fun. Glad to have you in. What's going on, Chris?
What's the deal, brother?
What we gonna dive into first?
Man, dog, it's a lot going on, man, in the music industry, man. And I personally resonated with me, man, because I remember my time with you when I had a couple years back in Atlanta when you took me up under your wing for a few months. And you pretty much was the first person to show me game as far as like, don't be the type of artist that only rely on the music bag. You know what I'm saying? Because we're seeing that shit in today's days in play so much, and where artists get so reliant on just that bag that they get so one-dimensional. So I want to get your thoughts on that, and particularly
on my side. When I first came in, when I first started doing this stuff, I was doing spoken word, and when as I was doing the spoken word, it was like I had done shows, and I had been on shows with people who had been on shows with Russell Simmons, and the common ground that I seen that nobody had any money, you know, and money was power. And at first I thought like, you know, somebody gonna hear one of these tight ass rhymes and they were gonna come save me. Like a sports dad or something gonna come save me. But at the end of the day, wasn't nobody to come save nobody who was speaking right. But after I realized it, I dived into a lot of things because I felt like I had reached the pinnacle. I had already sold out shows at the Apache, which was the biggest poetry spot in Atlanta. You know, I had already did all those things. So like, what's next? How do I go from getting 200 people in here to getting 2,000 people? So it was always a challenge of trying to get more people and more people to hear and follow the movement that challenged me to do other things. Going on, Thurston?
Yeah, we got Thurston and Miss Robert in here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Thurston is an artist, man. I'm interested to hear how he feels about being on what you call it, a one-track pony. Your mind is the more wider you'll think about the world and your finances. It's always 7 strings of income, because you got to always think that most rappers hit a point in their career where they're not selling anymore. You know, so what are you gonna do then? You know, what are you gonna do when the fans not buying your albums anymore? So that was one of the things that kind of humbled me when my shows wasn't getting packed anymore. So I had to find other ways to get income. So I picked up a camera. I learned how to do a little photography. The photography business wasn't coming fast enough. I bought a t-shirt and shit. You know what I mean? That's how we started Popular Lane. Because I am a writer and I come up with words, and I was like, I'll just throw some of my words on the shirt, and then I was getting people to do it. And I was like, shit, I was getting a nice number. Then I was like, man, what if I can cut that number down by learning to do it myself? You know, so it was always about trying to cut the numbers down to be able to keep going. I just think about just really listening to what we promoting and what we are cheering on. It's worse than slave music. I'm gonna tell you, it ain't NBA Youngboy, it's the other guy Chopper, what's his name?
NLE Chop
Down. Like, did you hear the words to that song? Like, yo, I see him in what you call it, I'm gonna walk him down. Like, I'm gonna gun him down. Like, this worse than slave music. And we singing and shit, celebrating the murder and the hunting of one of our own. And not only are we celebrating and promoting it, but we're turning around getting mad when somebody else does it to one of our kids. But, you know, we're promoting it. You know, that's the thing that we're promoting. So it's like
a hip-hop hypocrisy.
It's more than a hypocrisy. It's almost it's a lunatic mentality, like an insane mentality that we have. We want better, but we're not demanding better. And a lot of people use the escape route is that, you know, we did it, they did it, your mama don't did it, but look at where we at. You know what I mean? As a people.
To this media business, right? Like, when you think about it, I tell everybody recently too, in 2019, podcasting actually made more money than the music business in the audio space. Because you got to think about the time frames. People are able to do 2-3 podcasts a week. They about an hour, 2 hours and shit, versus a 30-minute album once a year. So as far as streaming, podcasting brought in more money. So now you look at the last 6 months, you look at Barack Obama, Michelle Obama announced podcast deal. You got Popular Lane announcing podcast deals. You got Meghan Markle and Harry just announced it within the last 48 hours. It's such a growing industry because it's pretty much like whatever you're good at, whatever you're tapped in with, whether it's you're a medical student, tap into medical podcasts, a law student. It's such a hearing people who actually do what you want to do, that the experience is like knowing what Nelson is, his mentality, it would be foolish if he didn't give that game away in the podcast, if you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many people who would love to know that knowledge or don't even realize that they need to hear that shit, that just respect them, you know?
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. I believe in timing, right? I believe in timing. I believe everything has its right time, like God. Even if you don't believe in God, on seasons, we plant seeds, and then once we plant the seeds, we give them a chance to grow. We nurture them, and we give them a chance to grow. You know, and it's always been my vision to be on TV in some kind of aspect, whether it was movies, talk show, radio, in some kind of form or fashion. That was the goal. The other things that I do are just a means to get to the end, just a way to get to the end. And it's always about, you can't receive nothing with your hands closed. You know, even when I don't want to give information, I give information because, you know, it's just not in me to keep the information from one another. It's enough money out here for everybody. And I think one thing that we get caught up in is black people counting our pockets, because we nobody don't want their next door neighbor to be a millionaire, because they be figuring like, why not me? Why wasn't me? And now they got their nose toted up when, you know what I mean, they could have been your best friend at first, you know what I mean? But now they got a little more. Instead of counting what you got, you know what I'm saying? Instead of counting what you got. So in that aspect, man, the podcast, I'm glad you dropped that little information. I didn't know that information. I'd be so caught up in what I be doing that I don't get a chance to do a lot of researching, and that's nice information to know, because I didn't know that, and there's probably a lot of people that didn't know that. So just right now in this space right here, we're teaching and helping a whole lot of people, you know, just in the conversation that we're having. You just taught me, whoever tune in is going to be taught that going to do your podcast if you know something. If you got a hobby, you got something that you know that's beneficial to your podcast, get paid. Yeah, because the thing that's incredible is and
right now, building with people that are like-minded. You know, but you got to be consistent with what you got going on. So, as you can see.
Yeah, that shit get real. It's like it's only math too, because if you know the math on like being an artist, you know what I'm saying, I release a song or an album per se, right? It's 1,500 streams for one album sale. In this time right now, podcasting is still being judged in the music spectrum, but the reason why it's such a growing avenue, because they can't measure it the same way. If I get 1,500 people to listen to a 2-hour podcast, that doesn't equate to 1,500 people listening to that 30. It's different because how long you keeping them on there, in essence. So like the amount of money you able to control, ads, marketing, you never could do that as an artist. You never could be like, yo, you want me to, I could put an ad in the middle of my music, dead smack for you without seeming corny or something. It's so many people, so many ways that you can control the dollar. You can open up the dollar. And Nelson was always somebody who brought it in into so many different ways. So like I said, it only made sense. You know what I'm saying? I was just appreciative to even just to try to spark that into your shit, because I can't even imagine where you would take it. You would take it from giving away game, and then you'll go from there to the visuals, the interviewing people. And like you said, it's just content. Some people got it.
Yeah, a lot of people that got it, but there's a lot of people who don't get a chance to see it.
Right.
Because they're not highlighted, because we highlight shit. You know what I mean? It's a lot of game, because all my game came from somebody else. You know what I mean? Looking at somebody else. I looked at Andre 3000 sell 10 million records and stopped wanting to even record. You know what I mean? I think you get more out of philanthropy than you can get out of dollar. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's only so much that a dollar can do. You know what I'm saying? Then you start thinking about your legacy. You know what I mean? You got to think about a legacy of what you want to leave behind. You know what I'm saying? In this world. So just knowing that in our encounter, in our meet, that I was able to be a powerful force to help change the direction of your life. That means that's worth more than $1 million.
Hey man,
you know what I mean?
No man.
Me and Thurston right now we working on the form for the Popular Lane podcast.
Yeah. Because the thing that's so deep, man, I was so artist driven when I first got down there. You gotta imagine, it was my first 6 months moving to Atlanta. You know, I was straight on my artist mode, trying to record. But then I was able to really be like, damn, I was going through that point to feeling like I wasn't just getting into the music. But what I realized, I was actually just expanding my game full around. And if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have ever been able to even if I was to go back down the music path to really do that, to know how to control all my sense of revenue because that would be something that somebody else had. If you can't control your ads, who else gonna control it? You know what I'm saying? If you can't control your own sponsorship, right, who gonna control it? The label get it. Artists don't even know about that. They don't ask about it. You know what I'm saying? Who gonna get that money?
They don't want that little upfront money to shine.
They just
want the little upfront money to shine.
You read that book, Strength Finder?
I haven't. What's it called?
It's a book, basically, Strength Finder. But basically it says in Western culture, we're taught to focus on our weaknesses. Like, oh, you're not good at math, you need to go to tutoring, you need to get a teacher on the side, this, that, and the third, but you hella good at English or whatever. But you're not really focusing on your strengths. Yeah. So the whole time, you thinking you spending your life focused on mentally where you weak at, as opposed to focusing on where you strong at and getting stronger where you're already strong there. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you can get stronger with your weaknesses, but what good does it for us to spend the whole day focusing on where we weak at when it's other people around us? You know, that's why they say like a wife or something, you know what I mean, or a partner, or when two is better than one. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have to know everything. You just got to get started and do the work.
Yeah,
that's real. That's real. And a lot of the time, I'm just now starting to have any kind of success in the business. When I say success, where I can feel good about, I've been doing this thing for 18 years and it's been on Rob and Harry to pay Paul, but until I got some people around me that was stronger where I was weak, then I can really start saying that I got a business that's producing. You know what I mean? Because I was so caught up with trying to find that, or so caught up in my mind that part was missing from the business or from the non-profit. Well, not even the non-profit, the organization that I was doing the Future Movement. It was crazy because I'm gonna say I was almost functioning illiterate. I didn't know nothing about a computer. I'm just now learning about computers within the last 10 years. So it was like, I was an old dude who didn't mess with a computer. I was always outdoors trying to hustle or something. And then it came a time where I needed a computer. And so I had to pay people to do stuff that, you know what I mean, that I'm doing with ease now. And I was astonished that people were actually charging me for the stuff that they were doing for me. You know what I mean? Because this is the stuff that I just tell people every day without no charge. You know what I mean? So I was paying for every piece of game. I can still remember my first CD, my first song, the first song that I had to hit. The first song that I had to hit was called It's My City. I played it the other day on Facebook, and that song had me next to Puff Daddy them in V103 with DJ Funky, and it was a nice little song, you know what I mean? And I didn't know how to work that song because I didn't understand marketing, I didn't understand ads. I was waiting on somebody to come save me. So a lot of this time was the like college. It took us through different stages, and it take you through different stages. And the key thing that a lot of rappers not doing, they don't get a chance to live to learn.
Not to cut you off, it's important too. Like you say, you've been doing this 18 years. What's immaculate is that this is the best time to finally get it together, because just like with every other industry, this shit continuously grow. Just look at basketball recently. Paul George and Giannis signing $220 million contracts, unprecedented, never before. The type of money they making. Look at the artists now. Tupac was sitting in jail for $1.5 million. he would have signed to the highest bidder. But now Takashi get $10 million straight in jail, wired to him. It's a different day. So like the shit just bigger. So all the game, these young people that's getting it, what they say, a fool with money ain't gonna last long. So if you able to get shit together in this day and age that you ain't got no corporations already you tied to, you done already sold your shit and this, this the best time that anybody could be rising, just to be honest.
Hey man, and that's why we doing what we doing. We're gonna keep on rising, man. I think it's like almost biblical. It says the first shall be last and the last shall be first. And the times, unfortunately, it's slowing everything down, and it's giving the last a chance to catch up with the first, if that makes sense. You know, I hate everybody that's lost loved one. I lost people through this COVID thing, but at the same time, I also been able to see my future. Millionaires are born at these kind of times, you know, and that's us, you know, and you know that's what I'm trying to be a part of. So I was looking at what Power and the dude was like, man, we gotta why is it so we gotta change the narrative of the black mind frame, you know what I mean? Why is it so not cool to be smart? We gotta be accountable. We don't want to be accountable. You know what I mean? We got to be accountable for a lot of things before we can change some things. And we want to place blame and hate, but we won't change. We can't we can't eat cake and then want to be fit. You know what I mean? It's gonna be impossible. You can't have a cake diet and then want to be fit. And we have to choose as a people, as a society, what it is that we want. You know, is it that we want to champion the dope dealers and the murderers and the rapists and the you know what I'm saying? Or do we want to put that energy towards raising these kids? You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, you know, they get the money just to shit on us. You have a nigga who ain't had nothing, been at open mic for 80 years. Time he get his first hit, he got all the goddamn Lamborghini. He gonna shit on you. He gonna goddamn put his goddamn bodyguards to goddamn punch you. But we the one that put you in the position that you in. You understand what I'm saying? I know everything comes with a price, but we gotta be mindful of what we by what we support and what we put energy behind.
Focus on that. I haven't been talking too much, but I've been listening as much as I can. And I think really with the podcast or whatever we do creatively, the beautiful thing is we have the power to literally shift the consciousness with just the words and the music, you know. And then with your brand, then that's what people associate that consciousness with. Oh, I'm wearing this, then I believe that. Just like when we was kids wearing Air Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like I was wearing Jordans because that's greatness, and I want to associate with greatness.
Right.
So if we establish just a simple level, you know, I'm sure you listen to podcasts. They come on with the same commercial every time, like even to the point where you remember what they're gonna say, and it's usually something positive, something that you know is going. I like how what's that man's name say? He say sizzle in your spirit, but it's gonna stick with you, you know. And then we embody it, and then it grows. But like, you're not gonna go up to somebody and take them off the street if you ain't got nothing to replace that. You know what I'm saying? But you can make a song, and they can hear that song and be like, "Dad, that song changed my life." You know, or that podcast changed or it gave me information to get me out of the situation that I'm in. You know,
would y'all say this? Would y'all say that podcasting or this new media shit is like the new rap? In essence, like it opened up a new lane for people to branch. Like,
definitely,
fuck out there.
Definitely. If you got some computer savvy people around you, man, the world is at your fingertips. You know, I'm a guy who never graduated from high school, never been to a prom, never been to college, but yet here I am, got friends all around America. You know what I mean? Right. Like, and I'm not even computer savvy. Right. You know what I mean? So, like,
where there's a will, there's a way. It don't matter where you come from. It's what you want to do and where you want to go.
Look, you know, it's crazy. Only in America, though, especially during the global pandemic, but we've been like this since 2008, where you can see a recession, but yeah, you see generations of motherfuckers thinking that structured education was the way. Not trying to encourage people necessarily drop out, but just taking the pressure off people who chose an alternative route than that type of education that they provide that really ain't shit no way. Say the A students make the best workers, the B students manage the A students, the C students own the business, and the D students bought the building. Real shit.
That's real. Because a lot of people that I know who would consider dumb in school are actually flourishing in life right now. You know what I mean? A lot of people that would consider smart that's falling into the whatchamacallit. So it's a whole cycle with this thing, man. It's a mind frame. How do we change the mind frame of our people when we've been taught and we've been programmed to think one kind of way? I was looking
by manifesting God's glory, you give other people subconscious permission to do the same thing. You're the example. How do you lead? You just go first. That's how you lead. You know.
That's real.
It's not like you was talking about the seed earlier. Like it's not our job to the seed's gonna grow once you plant it. You know what I mean? But we gotta plant the seed. It don't take like a whole bunch of crazy strategy to plant a seed. You just gotta dig up dirt and plant it. You know.
But you know, to the whatchamacallit, it's just not that simple. Cause you can put the seed in there, but if it don't rain or you're not getting it, you got to make sure you tend to it. If you want,
you got to tend to it.
You got to make sure you nourish it. And that's how. And right now, those seeds are our kids, and those are the plants, cause we having them, and they're out here, and we're seeing them every night in Atlanta. Man, they're being killed. In Chicago, they're being killed, and this shit is going on when the world is shut down. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of mind frame do we have when our parents or our grandparents can't even almost worry about breathing, and we still have enough hate in our heart to kill somebody that looks almost just like us?
Shit, I want to know your opinion, right? Because you probably could give a better analysis. I said this recently that the influence of Tupac and Biggie, their images, not their music, right? It made people feel like it was okay to not be a gangster and then all of a sudden portray a certain image. Now, I ain't trying to take no shots at Pac and Biggie. I love them dearly. But what I'm saying is neither one of them were just gangsters before the music. And and Biggie turned to Frank White. We know Pac turned to Red. You know what I'm saying? Like certain things that they gave, the influence is still resonating today. Like with Takashi, with like the NLE Chopper dude you're talking about now. You know, he's since changed his whole shit. And now his record's not selling. So that lets you know they want you to tap dance.
If you gotta think of, all right. Pop put out plenty of meaningful songs that was aimed at their heart, and that was some of his biggest songs. And we gotta go back to what the people want to see and what's selling. He had to sell his soul. It's like, all right, you know how a veteran comes back from war with PSD, and we be feeling sorry for the army dude or the veteran or whatever, because he got PSD and he's going crazy over here, or he don't got much. But it's the thing that he chose to do for the money. Same thing with Pop. You know what I mean? It's the lifestyle that he chose. Because guess what? He's a Gemini, just like me. And Thurston's a Gemini. He can vouch for this. You know what I mean? Counter, we pledge allegiance. If you rock, we rock with you. We rock with you. They came and paid $1.5 million to get him out of jail. You know what I'm saying? He was death row bound. He left the whole East Coast. The East Coast shot him up. So in his mind, his whole enemy was there. So his last years was consumed in a lifestyle that he wasn't for. He didn't even have any children. So he was an artist. He wrote about Suge's life and the people that was around him. He absorbed that and he wrote about it. But before he died, what he created Machiavelli. That was his.
Do you think they influenced by Pac, like as far as like they influenced by the bad part of Pac? like the part that chose those last year more so than that impactful shit, like as far as the artists today who choose, like, you know how niggas be like, I was 23 then I decided to start gangbanging, versus those niggas in Cali and Chicago who get beat up in teenagers. You see what I'm saying? Like Biggie, not to come at Biggie like that, but like I seen the movie and shit and I was just like, you know, he wasn't, I know niggas in Detroit that's more raw. Not like that.
Okay, check this. Fuck Biggie and Pac. I'm gonna speak on myself. So now everything that I love has changed. You know what I mean? The thing that I desired and I wanted to accomplish, I didn't even want to accomplish no more. You know what I mean? My whole plot and twist has changed. And it took something to grab me. Actually, it was poetry that grabbed me and started turning me back. You know, I had a friend, Michael Ayer, he's my friend on Facebook, and we used to smoke. You know what I mean? Sit in his room and smoke. He's from up top, he's from New York, but he was staying, you know, he lived down here now. And he showed me a poem, the HBO their poetry, and it was a dude with black ice on there, man. He did a poem called Not Just Another Nigga, and I was like, dang. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be that nigga he was describing in that poem.
Man, they willing to die for a lot of shit besides the rap, man. They're just willing to die now. And it's a lot of more rappers die with, like when Pac and Biggie got killed, that was almost unheard of. Now that shit every other week.
Right, and that's the point. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's still, like, it's so much of that coming from that particular influence. Like, not even the music. If we put music aside, I just see that they just still, every day another rapper get his money and turn gangster. Or just, and I think that they, you know what I'm saying? We need, like I said, we got to make it popular again to be smart, to think outside the box, to not follow the trend.
Popular.
Yeah, we creating culture.
Make it cool to be smart again, man. It's up to us as adults to make the children. We are the influence, and we gotta influence the kids. And we wear and we buy for them, and we celebrate people that are actually doing something and not celebrating the people that's tearing us down. Then we'll be able to change the whole world, not just the culture, the world. And it starts with us, and we have to believe in ourselves that we have the power to do that. I'm seeing it, I'm doing it. I'm like, I've never bought an ad for this stuff, and it's selling, and it's everywhere right now. It's from LA to fucking Alabama. They got a Popular Lane sweater somewhere out there. And that's so dope right now in these times that people are grasping the concept, because they killing our people right now. How we gonna come together but then celebrate on the destruction and the murder of our people? We can't.
That's crazy. That's Stockholm syndrome.
It is, man.
Hey man, appreciate it, bro.
Bless up, Black people,
brother. Thank you, man, for the wild word. Tap in.